Today we are firmly in soup season and there's a nice breeze outside. It's kind of chilly and that means it's time for chicken noodle soup. I'm going to show you how to make chicken noodle soup. Super easy. We're using a rotisserie chicken. If you wanted to cook your own chicken for the soup, it would take a couple extra steps. You'd have to cook the chicken. But using a rotisserie chicken is super easy, and when I get done with the chicken part of the chicken, I have the bones and I can make more stock, which I showed you in another video. Chicken noodle soup is super easy. It does take one sort of special ingredient, and I say sort of special just because like this is not a noodle that I normally keep on hand, and that is egg noodles. I'm also going to be using some fresh herbs. I am lucky enough that my grocery store has these they call it a poultry vent blend. There's some thyme, some rosemary, and some sage in there. Smells really good. I'm just gonna chuck this in there and pull it out when the soup is done. If you wanted to, you could use dried herbs. That's fine. You could use an Italian blend. That's up to you, but I just wanted to be a little fancy today and use some fresh herbs. But other than that, this is pretty simple, so let's make some chicken noodle soup.
So the first thing that I'm going to do is chop up one whole onion. I'm just doing a really rough chop. This sort of depends on your preference of how you want your vegetables in your chicken noodle soup. If you want smaller pieces of onion, you'll need to chop this smaller. If it doesn't matter, you can go with kind of a larger dice just because it's going to boil for a long time and it's going to get soft. I would recommend using a white or a Vidalia onion over, say, like a red onion, just because a red onion is going to get kind of mushy and jammy. A white or a Vidalia onion is going to hold up a little bit better in the soup. And now I have peeled and I'm slicing 2 carrots. And the carrot, onion, and celery ratio is sort of up to you. We like more carrots than we do celery, so I didn't use quite as much celery. But if you prefer more celery, you could use more. That part's, kind of up to you. And these carrots that I'm using, they were pretty big, so I would maybe go with a little bit smaller carrot size. And then I chopped up about 2 stalks of celery and then 3 to 4 cloves of garlic. And again, you could add more or less garlic depending on what you prefer. And if you don't want to take the time to chop up the garlic and peel it and all of this stuff, using the garlic out of a jar is just fine, and also using just garlic powder is fine too. You'll just want to make sure you taste it. Of course, that's true with any recipes. You want to taste it as you go, but and I'm just doing a really rough chop on this garlic. It's not a super fine mince or anything like that. So now in my Dutch oven, I added about a tablespoon of butter, and I'm just adding in all my vegetables with a big pinch of salt to draw out water and so that they'll cook and soften for a few minutes. And while I'm doing that, I'm shredding up my rotisserie chicken while these are kind of cooking. I added my garlic last just because I didn't want it to burn. And then I added I deglazed the bottom of the pan because, there was some stuck on bits because I let it sit for a little too long. And then I'm adding in 3 quarts of chicken stock. You could do 2 quarts. I think 2 quarts would be just fine. But I had 3 quarts of homemade chicken stock that I needed to use, or otherwise it was going to go bad soon. So now I'm adding in my shredded rotisserie chicken, and I'm just giving that a good mix, and I'm adding in my herbs. If you wanted to use dried herbs, you absolutely could. I just happen to have fresh herbs. And then we're going to simmer that for about 30 minutes. After about 30 minutes, you're going to add about half a package of the egg noodles. You could add the entire package if you wanted to. It's just going to suck up a lot of the liquid. And you just want to cook those according to whatever the package instructions are. But there's the soup. If you want to see more recipes, be sure to check out Lives and Dishes, and thanks for watching.